All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to do something that's really handy to know if you're somebody who's a little fidgety, who needs to be doing something with their hands, maybe while you're listening to somebody, or just if you're looking for something to do, and that's actually crocheting with your fingers. Now, typically, if you've seen crochet before, maybe your mom has done it or a grandparent, it's often done with these tools here, which are called crochet hooks. And they're really great. So after we go through crocheting with your fingers today, you can actually go back in and replace your finger with one of these tools and make some really neat and precise work. But you can use your finger as a hook. It doesn't matter how big your hands are. I actually have very, very tiny hands. You can see all my fingers are the same size, and it works just great. So what you're going to need today is a ball of wool. I find the thicker the better. You can use finer wool like this as well, and it works just fine. You'll need your hands. You might need some scissors as well, but the main thing is you're going to need a little bit of patience just while you're getting started with this. Some might pick it up quickly, some might take a little bit of extra time, but you will be able to do it by the end of this 15 minutes. So as I mentioned before, all you're really going to need is a ball of wool, your fingers, maybe some scissors, and some patience. Now, the first thing you're going to need to know when you're crocheting is what's called a slip knot. Now, I have a very specific way of tying my slip knots that I find is really easy to do. Now, if you're right-handed, you might want to be doing this with your right hand. If you're left-handed, you can do this with your left hand. You might even want to try doing the opposite of what you normally do, and you can kind of train yourself to be ambidextrous. But for this video, I'm right-handed. I'll do everything with my right hand. So I'm going to make a shape like this, and I'm going to do a little crab claw with my fingers and put those right underneath that loop. Now I'm going to actually cross this yarn over, and we're going to pick up that section of yarn there. And that's actually going to create a slip knot. Now a slip knot is really great because you can make it really big or you can make it really small. And that's how we're going to start our work. So we'll do that one more time. So make a shape like this. Pinch your fingers. Cross over and pull through, just like that. So your slip knot should be able to grow or shrink. If it's not doing that, just keep practicing. Now that we have our slip knot, we're going to keep doing that pinching motion. So remember how I said to use your fingers as a hook? For the first row, it's much easier to do this pinching motion. Instead, you can control your yarn a lot more easily. So we're going to take our slip knot and insert our pinchy fingers like that. And you want to make sure you're actually working with your long thread and not the tail of your slip knot, because you'll run out of yarn pretty quickly if you use that. So what we're going to do is pick up this long length and pull it through this loop, because that's all that crochet is. It's a series of loops feeding into the next. So I'm going to pull that first loop, but I don't want to pull really tightly. What happens if you pull really tightly, you get really small loops and it'll start to get harder and harder to work. So make sure your fingers can comfortably fit into the loop. And that'll be a good measurement. You want them to be kind of relatively the same. They don't need to be perfect, especially if this is your first go. And I'm going to create, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'll make 8 loops. And what we're doing now is called creating a chain. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'll do one more. So if your chain is kind of twisting around on you, don't worry about that. This is our first row. It's always going to be messy. It's expected. Great, so we created our first row or our chaining row. And for something to do, you can actually just create really, really long chains. And they're really fun to use as a material. So you could make long lengths and braid them. You could tie them together to make friendship bracelets, or just creating an even thicker yarn that you can then crochet with again. But we're going to use this as the base of our work. So this is how wide our work is going to be. So this would be great for, say, a dishcloth, a scarf, or it's a good foundation to then build off of, or you can stitch onto it. You can do lots of fun stuff with what we're going to do. So before moving on to our next row, there's something important that you have to do, and that is called a turning chain. So that's just an extra loop. So remember we did 8 here. Now we're going to add a 9th before moving on to our next row, because if we don't do that, our work will start to get really small and turn into a triangle. So that's actually a fun tip to remember. If you want to create that shape, skip this part and play around and see what happens. But if you find as you're working, your work is starting to shrink, that's probably why. So what I'm going to do is just create another loop, inserting my fingers into this loop that we have left, pinching and pulling through. So you can see that loop is really big. I'm going to actually undo that. It's really easy to undo. Make that loop just a hair smaller. There we go. Great. So to move on to the next row, we're going to skip that chain we just cast on, that extra one, and we're going to pull a loop through this chain. So what I'm going to do is insert my fingers into our working loop. The last loop is always going to be our working loop. And I'm going to skip this one and then insert my fingers into this space right here. And we're going to push that yarn through that space. So you can see here, we now have 2 loops on my finger here. Now, once we have 2 loops, we're going to need to pull through one more time, just like that. And what we've done here is actually created our first stitch. Now, it might not look like anything right now, but we're going to repeat that the whole way across. So we have 1 stitch, pinch our fingers through this loop, and then I'm going to go through the next stitch. So you can see here, these are the holes that I'm putting my fingers through. So I'll go into the next one and pull my yarn through. So now I have 2 loops on my finger. I'm going to push. You can either pinch with this hand or kind of push with this hand, whatever's comfortable for you. And we'll pull that loop through. So now we have 2 stitches. Insert my finger through, look for my next stitch, which is this one. Push the yarn through. So now we have 2 loops on our finger. Push that yarn through, just like that. And I'm going to do this all the way across until we get to that first slip knot that we actually tied. All right, so I made it all the way across. And if you're ever unsure if you accidentally skipped a stitch or skipped a loop, if we look on top of our work here, it looks very similar to the chain that we created at the beginning. See all these kind of little V shapes happening here? Each of those is a stitch. So I'm going to count. So I have 1 at the beginning here. It can be a little bit hard to see sometimes. So it can sometimes be loose. There we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches, and then this is our working loop. So now to go on to the next row, remember what I said before, it's really important to create a turning chain, and that's going to make sure our work doesn't shrink as we're going. So I'm going to actually flip my work over. I like to work from right to left. You don't have to, you can work however you want. It'll have the same result. So what I'm going to do is create one extra loop, just like that. So that loop here is now my turning loop or my turning chain. So I'm going to skip that one, and this is my first stitch. Remember, if you're ever unsure, go back and count. So I'll insert my finger. See, now I'm using that hook motion I mentioned before. Now I have 2 loops. Now I'm going to pull this one through. And we created our first stitch. So when I'm inserting here, I'm going through both of those kind of V legs that are happening. If you want, you can just pick up one or the other one, and you'll get different textures by doing that. I want you to be really experimental with what you're doing. Next stitch, hook, pull through, hook, or pinch and pull through again. So now I have 3 stitches up here. And again, I'll work all the way across, do a turning chain, and do another row. All right, so here I've done probably about 4 or 5 rows. So if I did a couple more, I would get a square, and you can use that as a dishcloth, a cozy. You can make a blanket if you make it really, really wide, or you can make a scarf if you make it really, really long. But there are a few ways that you could start to really experiment with what I've just taught you. What if you start picking up loops on the front of your work? So instead of picking up these V's that are on the top, bring your working loop around and start picking up random loops on the top. You'll start to work 3-dimensionally. You can go around by picking up some random loops on the side. Now it might look very different than what you're seeing on the top, but be experimental. What if you want to make your shape go wider or smaller? Doing that is called increasing or decreasing. So to do that, you start working with your working loop. Now to increase, instead of doing just 1 stitch in these holes here, oh, and I need to do a turning chain. Remember to do that before working. You insert your finger, pull through 1. Now see where that hole where I just did that stitch? We're going to do 2 stitches. And that's called an increase. So you can be really kind of systematic in doing that. You could do like 2 in every stitch. You could do 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You could do just 1 random increase in the middle and see what happens. But gradually, your work will start to change shape. Now, to decrease or to make your work smaller, all you need to do is skip the next stitch. So that's this one here. And I'll insert my finger into the stitch after. So we're skipping a stitch, and that will make, instead of having 8 stitches in that row, in the next row we'll only have 7. So by doing that, you can be really experimental and go wild with your work. Go 3-dimensional. Start adding in new materials. But by using your finger or your 2 fingers as your hook, you have a lot of potential to have a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed that, and happy crocheting, everyone.